If you're a new Spanish heritage high school teacher and you think that grading at home is part of the job, think twice. It actually doesn't have to be part of the job. With the right strategies, you can get all of the grading done during the contract hours, and today I'm going to show you how. Hey there, my name is Yael Bass. I am a former Spanish teacher of 5 years, taught Spanish for heritage speaker. You're going to want to stay until the end for the bonus tip, which is actually my favorite strategy. Tip number 1, have a good practice of only grading one summative assessment a week. You do not have to grade every single thing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Choose one assignment and plan it ahead of time. Okay, this is exactly what I'm gonna grade before you even present that assignment to your students. Number 2, have a file organizer, a paper one. If you use paper assessments, have one that says graded and non-graded. I know that sounds basic, Teacher 101, but try to have the non-graded bucket or the non-graded file empty, like always making sure like there's a physical signal that says, okay, I need to grade these guys. Third one, and I don't know if recordings is a huge thing in other schools, but it really was when I was a teacher. So recording on different platforms such as Schoology, such as Canva, and I know I had to do all of them. We had recordings at least once a week, and my recommendation is not to listen to the recording the whole time, like for 5 minutes or 7 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever the recording was. Don't listen to all of it. Usually the recordings are so that students get more comfortable with recording themselves, but also elaborating in Spanish. So I would just give them participation points. Like if they even have something in the recording assessment section, just give them the points. If you do have Socratic Seminars, which I don't know if this is more common in other schools, but it was in my experience as a Spanish teacher for heritage speakers, was Socratic Seminars. And Socratic Seminars, and if you're not even a Spanish teacher and you do Socratic Seminars, it is a lot to grade. And what I would suggest is to have students grade themselves or have them grade each other. So just assign their person that they're going to grade, and they don't say anything. So that way you just have to trust your students in this. For this tip, essays, heritage speaker teachers actually will teach students how to write a full-on essay, and it is to prepare students for the AP Spanish language exam. And so that is a lot of reading. Like it's 2 pages and you are grading it on different areas. For example, grammar, syntax, analysis, organization, whatever it is. I know the rubric is like complex, but if you really want to get grading done in the workplace and not at home, focus on one specific area every time you do guys have an essay. So maybe for the first trimester, you can have, you focus on the analysis part. On the second essay, focus on the organization. So that way you're not grading 4 different areas per essay, because that's at least 10 minutes per essay. And how many students do you have? Like 100 or more. When it comes to paragraphs, whether it be compare and contrast, analysis paragraphs, because you know heritage speakers, they're preparing themselves for the AP Spanish exam. When it comes to these paragraphs, the principle as the essays is the same. Focus on one area of the paragraph, whether it be the hook, whether it be the analysis, the grammar, or the transitional phrases. Just focus, narrow down what exactly you are looking for in those paragraphs. And you can even let the students know, look, this is what you will be graded on this specific part of the paragraph. but obviously tell them that they need to write the whole entire paragraph. Because if you say, oh, I'm focusing on the hook, then people are, students are going to say, oh, I'm just going to write the hook. But no, you have to write the whole paragraph in order for that paragraph to be graded. All right, number 7, if you have any quizzes that assess students' grammar or spelling or anything simple like that, have an answer key. And I have a couple of resources on TPT that you can look at on grammar when you have, and it has an answer key as well. And the reason why you want an answer key along with the quiz is because you can delegate those assessments to be graded to a TA. And if you never know until you ask your administration if you can be assigned a teacher's assistant, whether it be a senior who has an empty period or whatever it is. Have somebody else grade it for you, whether it be a friend. Maybe you can pay them a couple of dollars, or or not a couple of dollars, but you know what I'm saying, like you can charge them a fair price, or a college student that maybe a friend, or maybe somebody from church that's a high school student that needs a job, or something like that. Or you can even do a trade-in, right? Like, grade this for me and I'll cook for you, or something like that. Or you can basically, this is what I did a few times, is I chose 1 to 2 students that I really trusted, and they usually would finish early. Or even during advisory, I would have students work. I would ask them to grade for me. And I think maybe I gave them like 1 or 2 extra credit points or something for helping me. Or I don't know, you can give them food, you can give them candy, whatever it is, just to get them incentivized to help you out. And I think more than likely, students are willing to help a teacher. And I think they get flattered by the trust that the teacher has for them as well. So those are just some things to think about. I don't think it's for everybody, but if you have that trust with you and your students, delegate the grading, especially when it comes to quizzes and things like that are tedious. Give it to somebody else, or even your spouse or somebody that you live with that probably has very little or has a lot of time on their hands. Delegate it to somebody that is willing to help. Hey, if you're already learning something brand new in this video on how to crunch all the grading time during your contract hours and not at home, do me the biggest favor, and it is completely free. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, or comment below which tip has already resonated with you, or maybe you have a strategy that you use so that you don't have to take grading home. Put it in the comments. We want to hear from you. Also, don't forget to watch until the end for the bonus tip and the best tip, I think, in my opinion. Okay, number 8. When it comes to grammar, and to be honest, grammar wasn't really emphasized in my department as much as it should be. I mean, grammar is important, but it's not like the most important part of the language learning process. But when it comes to grammar, an idea that I had, and I did not do this during my time as a teacher, but I think I would have done it if I had known what I know now, and that is to leverage ChatGPT in the classroom when it comes to grammar. Perhaps what you could do if you're writing a paragraph, or if the students are writing a paragraph or an essay, whatever, and you can just circle the points where they need to fix their grammar, and if they don't know exactly what the problem is, they can actually ChatGPT it and ask it, what is the problem that my teacher highlighted on my paragraph? If you obviously have to teach the students how to do this and model it, but that way, that could save you so much time in terms of the grammar. Strategy number 9. Before you assign an activity, think about a couple things. The first one is, will this be graded? And you'll also get that question a lot of times. And if students ask you is this going to be graded? I wouldn't say a yes or a no, that you will find out next week or something if it is graded or not. That way you don't have students, if you say a yes or a no, then you're basically giving students the permission to do the assignment or not do the assignment. So you want the students to actually do all of the assignments with the possibility that each assignment will be graded. Strategy number 10. This is not so much of being efficient, but it ties into the idea of grading. And this is be transparent about grading. And this actually gives you accountability, and it puts you on like, okay, I have to do this, right? For example, it ties into the first one of grading only one assessment a week. And that way the students know, hey, on Mondays, I'm going to update the grades. Or you could say on Fridays, grades will be updated. So you'll find out, which assessment was graded. So letting the students know when grades will be updated. I think students really appreciate this because a lot of students are like, well, I don't know when that's going to be graded. I don't know anything about my grade, right? But if the teacher is telling his students, look, all grades will be updated every Friday or every Thursday, and that way okay, I need to get all of my grades in, or get the grades for that one assessment per week on Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon. Okay, tip number 11. We're almost to the end. We're almost to the bonus tip. This is something that I did. You may or may not like this one, or it may not work for you, but I would get up early and go to work about 30 minutes before the bell rang, or maybe even like 40 minutes before the start of the day. And this gets me going. I sit down at my desk and I look at my to-dos, and I start grading for at least 20 minutes during that time period. And that, I feel like that allowed me to advance. And I would also dedicate 20 minutes during my prep time, and I would actually put a timer of 20 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna grade this. And so basically I would be grading 40 minutes a day or 50 minutes a day every single day. And that adds up, right? Monday through Friday. That's literally, you know how many minutes, at least like 3 hours of grading every week, if my math is correct. Okay, this is finally the bonus tip. And this tip may or may not work for you, depending on your administration and who is in charge and what they believe in when it comes to grades. But something that I did often, but not every week, however, I think maybe it could be beneficial if you did this every week, and that is to have a 30-minute to even a 40-minute catch-up time with your students. So catching up on any assessments, any work, or just simply they just need to catch up. Maybe they were absent for like a couple of days because they were sick and now they have to catch up. It is basically a catch-up day for every single student. And just like you plan any other lesson, you want to lesson plan this particular day, because you can't just tell students, oh, this is a catch-up day, and then let the students do whatever they need to do. There has to be some form of accountability. And a couple of ideas here is, the first is to have a Pear Deck question and let students asks the students, what will you be working on today? And that way exactly what the students are working on, right? So if somebody is working on assessment number 1 or exit number 3 or whatever it is, you can at least exactly what students are working on. And I would check on the students every 10 or 15 minutes, just walk around and making sure that students are doing what they need to do. But make sure that it only lasts like 3 minutes or even less, because remember, you're trying to strategize and optimize the time that you have for grading. And what this could look like is basically students working independently, or they can ask questions to a friend, but they cannot ask questions to you specifically. This isn't a tutoring time, it's a catch-up time. If they do need to go to tutoring, right? Usually schools have their like tutoring hours, and I'm sure you as a teacher, you have been part of that. But what about the students who do not need to catch up on anything in your class? Let's say they are passing. In this case, you can ask students, this is where it gets genius, right? You can ask the student to help you out with grading, or you can ask the student to help out a specific student that is failing the class and be a moral support person, but also guide them in what needs to be done. Or you can just let them know, if you are not passing another class, you can actually catch up in that class. Or if you have a list of resources, we call it enrichment learning, they can go through the resources, the links, YouTube or readings, articles, they can go through that resource list. It's called enrichment learning. And that will keep them occupied, but also learning at the same time. And then the last resort would be just to read a book. So it's good to have your own library or just a book in general for them to read. So there's lots of things that you can offer during this time, because if you don't offer anything, there are more likely there's gonna be problems, surely, because you're like, oh, I'm already passing, I don't have to do this, anything. I would actually just do this once a month, because I can almost see students abusing the catch-up time every week. So, and don't let students know when the catch-up date would happen, if that makes sense. Make it super random. You can make it like the first week of every month or the last week of every month. Something like that. That way students are not like, oh, well, I can just finish it during the catch-up hour, or I don't have to be present there because it's catch-up hour. Oh no. Now, the tricky part of this bonus tip is, will your administration approve of this? And my recommendation is not to tell administration at all that you're doing this. I don't know if I did this in my first school site, and perhaps I did do it and they didn't let me. I don't really remember, but in my second school site, I did this often and was encouraged to do this actually. In the case that your administration does tell you something or tells you that you cannot, you can have a data point prepared and let them know, look, this is what is beneficial for my students. That way you can kind of let them know, maybe perhaps they can make an exception. And I think a lot of charter schools, if you're in a charter school system, like, it's just intense, the amount of work that is required for students, the amount of work that is required of teachers, and the hours as well. It's like from 7:30 to 4 p.m. or whatever, and it's a lot. And it's nice to have a catch-up time where it's just like you sit down and you just catch up on any assessments that you need to catch up on. So it's a win-win, I think, on teachers and also students, because you can also have more time to grade and things like that. I can guarantee you that if you implement some or all of these strategies, that you will find yourself grading at work and less at home. Now, if you are a heritage Spanish teacher in the United States, I think you're gonna like these two videos that are coming up. It is how to use ChatGPT in the classroom, in the heritage Spanish classroom, and how to prepare students for the AP Spanish exam. And it doesn't matter if you're an AP Spanish teacher, but even if you are in Spanish 1 or Spanish 2 or Spanish 3, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for content just like this, and let us know in the comments what strategy you found the most interesting, or the one that you are going to try, and let us know. Keep us updated. Hasta luego. Bye.